Hey everybody, Matthew here with MEB Pod. Another great episode. I'm going to keep it short again, just because I do want to get into our special guests. So when I do have guests on, this portion or segment, or more or less whatever this is, um, with a guest will be a little shorter than what it normally would be. Um, to preface this, I do have like I said, a pretty wonderful guest. He's a caddy over there at Whistling Straits. You'll meet him here in just a few minutes. Looking forward to putting out the interview there. So we'll get into my birdie and my double bogey. Double bogey, again, I had a pretty decent week. Looking forward to, trying to contribute more to the golf world and seeing what other fans out there want. So just really unsure what I'm doing, when it comes to the editing part, but still kind of dialing in and getting better at it each and every day. So, with a bogey or double, or my birdie, I really, like I said, I've got another guest on, which is good. I'm trying to implement the Rode AI1 mic. So hopefully this comes out sounding okay. I didn't put it in with my interview, but this should be okay. We'll see. Um, but congratulations to Kurt Kitayama, winning the 3M Open up in the Twin Cities, up there in Minnesota. Very nice. We've got a bunch of trades going on in the Major League Baseball. That's about to end here. I believe tomorrow is the trade deadline. The NFL is getting ready to start up here pretty soon. We've got the Ryder Cup in a couple of weeks and the Tour Championship. So we got a lot going on in the sports world. Looking forward to um, everything that is going on. If you're looking at the YouTube world, golf, we do have, of course, the Internet Invitational. As I've mentioned, or any of my subscribers or fans have seen, I do. I'm rooting for the Duke. I mentioned that to the Scratch Golf Show last week in my last week's episode. The Duke is just pure entertainment. Anything Bob does sports, I'm sure he found this guy, and it's just looking forward to really seeing what the Duke can put out there in the for the Internet Invitational. I know we kind of dived into a little bit of the why Dave Portnoy and Bob Sports didn't implement too many women in the field for the Big Cedar Lodge Internet Invitational. If you want my truly honest thoughts on it, I'm not saying that these girls aren't any better. I mean, I'm sure they're better than Bob and the Jet and some of these, and even people like Fat Perez. Some of these girls are pretty wonderful golfers. But it's not these uh, girls that are putting up $1 million. If they really wanted to, I'm sure they could go out there and put their own little Internet Invitational, invite two guys. It's not. It's what Dave Portnoy and Bob Does Sports wants. It's not their field. So at the end of the day, I mean, it is what it is. You got to kind of get over yourself. It's going to be entertaining. I'm sure the haters are still going to watch it. And they're going to hate it, whether how good or bad it is. It's just like the movie Happy Gilmore. A lot of people hated it because of how it wasn't the same as the old one. I did enjoy it. I took it for what it was. It wasn't the original, but I had a blast watching it. It was good. I thought it was pretty good. They did went a little bit too overboard with the cameos and stuff like that, but end of the day, it was, like I said, you got to take things for what they are, and I enjoyed it. So I mean, I wouldn't say it's the best movie ever made, but or the best that Adam Sandler did, but again, I think Bad Bunny did pretty well in the as the caddy role. Travis Kelce, I thought, was pretty good as a server, and I think Xander Schauffele, for what his small little role was, did a pretty good job with it. With that being said, there has been a whole lot going on down here. I haven't really been able to get out there and golf. I'm kind of just looking forward and planning my trip to Chambers Bay here in a couple weeks. So if there is any other interest in being a guest on my episode in the future, slide me a DM, shoot me an email, do whatever you got to do. I'd love to have guests on. If I need to go a solo episode, I definitely will do that. It's not that I I'd prefer to have a guest on, So, with that being said, I want to dive right into our interview with your Mike the Caddy from Whistling Straits. He's a Missouri boy. I really hope you enjoy what he has to say and, enjoy.
All right. Well, hey everybody, Matthew here with MEB Pod. Today I have a special guest on, Mike from Whistling Straits. He's a caddy there. First of all, I just want to thank you for coming on and helping me out here with this. I'm brand new to this. I've had only two episodes out right now. I got my father on one, and then I had a gentleman from the Scratch Golf Show. I'm not sure if you've seen any of his content on YouTube, but I highly recommend checking him out. He kind of focuses more on the YouTube golf thing, which is really neat. Absolutely love it. I just want you to kind of go ahead and kind of introduce yourself, and then I've got written down a few questions here, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, well, hey, Matt, I appreciate great to meet you. Thanks for having me on. Happy to be one of the early guests. Like to see this thing boom and take off. But my name is Mike Miller. I'm a caddy up here at Whistling Straits. I've been caddying now for about 4 to 5 years. This is my third season up here at Whistling Straits, but I kind of bounce around with it. So usually Whistling Straits, that golf season goes from late April until usually Halloween, like the very end of October. Sometimes it stretches into early November, but yeah. So I'm up here during those months at Whistling Straits in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, and then in the winter time, I take the caddy bib off, and I coach high school basketball back home in my home state of Missouri, back in my hometown. But caddying wise, I've been at Whistling Straits. I've been at a club just outside of Austin, Texas called Driftwood, private club just outside of Washington, D.C. called Congressional. And then a few other courses there in Texas, in the Dallas area, Trinity Forest, Maridoe, things like that.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, that's been some pretty solid courses, good tracks. You're from Missouri, I hear.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
I'm also a Missouri boy from St. Louis.
There we
Uh,
go.
I live in Miami now. I saw you posted something about you're at the in Columbia, so I saw that and I'm like, well, I mean, that's not something that I usually see from a caddy up in Whistler, at Whistling Straits. I thought that was really neat. So I guess we're based out of, are we down in Rolla?
Yeah, Rolla. Yes, sir. About an hour and a
Okay.
half outside of St. Louis there.
Very nice, very nice. Well, yeah, yeah, it's good to have you, a Midwestern on, a local boy.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
definitely nice to see a Midwestern on here. But how do you more or less get into caddying, and kind of what do you most enjoy about it?
Yeah, so I got into it. Kind of a funny story. I've been around the game of golf ever since I was a kid. My dad's a really, really good golfer. He played at a really high level, as his amateur years, kind of in college and his early adulthood. And so whenever I came along, I had a club in my hand at an early age, and grew up with the game of golf. But so basically, how I got into caddying in between summers while I was at school, I would work at private golf clubs down in Texas, and I was just like outside staff, valet, cart barn, range attendant, things like that. And I was around the private golf community every summer, months out of the year. And basically, I was just like, I really liked getting to meet and connect with a bunch of super financially, successful people. And I liked that they would remember me, and like it was really cool to feel noticed or important to someone who has a lot of success in life. And so um I after college I took a job in the banking world, and I was a lender for years back in my hometown, and just got sick and tired of sitting at a desk. And so I packed up the bags and moved from Missouri down to Texas and started working at another private golf club down there just outside of San Antonio. And I was doing that same thing, valet, outside staff, doing it for a couple of years. And COVID hit. And whenever COVID hit, everyone that was inside had to wear a mask. And there were parts of my job that were inside and you had to wear a mask. And I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand having the mask on all the time. And so I was like, I gotta do something else. Like get me back outside, where I'm full time outside doing something. And I came across this private club that was just being developed. It was being built, and they were going to have a caddy program out there. So I was like, hey, it's around that private club industry that I've been around. So let me try the caddy thing out for a little while. You always hear about caddies making really good money, so I figured I'd give it a go. Got hired on as the first caddy there at Driftwood, just outside of Austin, Texas. And I mean, it just kind of took off. I got kind of familiar with it there, and I found it to not really feel like a job. Like it was just really fun. Like I went to work every day, and I was
Sure,
excited about
sure.
it. And you get to meet new people almost every day. And if you don't meet the new people, like you're familiar with the people that you are caddying for, who are like requesting you later in the days or something like that. So I was doing it strictly there at Driftwood for about, just a couple months. And my caddy manager there, he was like, "Hey man, like, you've got an knack for it. You should try and go out and travel with it. Like they've got an opportunity out at Congressional in DC, and it's like 5 months. Like you should go out there and see what you think about traveling with it, and see what you think about doing the caddy thing full send, full go." So I, said, why not? I packed up the bags and moved out to DC for 5 months and absolutely loved it. It was kind of my first real exposure to the caddy grind and the caddy
Mhm.
world. And you're meeting, 100 to 200 different caddies at that program there. Congressional is a pretty big caddy program. And so, you're making connections with a whole bunch of other caddies who are like, oh, you need to go here, you need to go there, you need to try this course, you need to try that. And I loved it. I loved the vibe of the people. I loved that, you're outside on an immaculate golf course every day. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into it, and I'm still loving it to this day.
Very nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's probably a lot of challenges that come along with caddying. I'm sure travel being one of them, having to plan and, accommodate for whatever your plans are and travel needs and whatever that might be. But like
Yep.
on the course, you caddy for probably some very, very good golfers. And then I'm sure you caddy for some tough ones, probably somewhere to my status of golfer. I'm not a scratch golfer. I do like to get out there and have fun. It can be a little intimidating for someone like myself to play with a caddy. I was lucky enough to get out at the Wynn in Las Vegas, and they force you to have a caddy. Beautiful
Yep.
course. First time ever playing with a caddy. Obviously, as I said, a little intimidating, but you know what? At the end of the day, the caddies are out there to help you and have a good time from my experience with it. He turned the music on. He's like, hey, you want to listen to some tunes? You want a cigar? The Wynn, they do it. It's Las Vegas. So they're just like, here, take this, take this, so it's like they loosen you up a little bit. So it was
Yep.
like the Wynn might have been a little easier way to kind of tap into the golfing with a caddy kind of world, but I obviously, what are there any tips out there that you might give to amateurs that aren't used to playing with caddies,
Yeah.
like myself?
Yeah, I mean, first things first is like don't feel intimidated by it. Don't feel uncomfortable by it. Golf is a very humbling game. There are people who are amazing at it. There are people who are terrible at it. But the best part is the people who are amazing at it still have moments where they're not good at it. So like no one's perfect, and we see a very broad spectrum. We
Sure,
see
sure, sure.
amazing golfers. We see terrible golfers. We see people who've been playing it forever. We see people who just started playing it last month.
Hmm.
So, and I get there's nerves on every first tee box, and there's nerves of like, you just met this caddy 30 minutes ago, and you've got to be with him for 4 to 5 hours, and you're nervous to play in front of them. You're nervous to have someone almost feel like I'm trying to put myself in a golfer's shoes with the first time caddy, almost feeling a little bit their golf game a little bit judged, like feeling like I've got
Oh
this
yeah,
guy
absolutely.
who sees all this stuff, and he's probably going to be like, oh, this guy sucks, this guy does it. Like, not at all. We're out there to obviously we'll give input on trying to help your game improve if that's what you want. Like if you want us to give you some pointers to maybe help you out a little bit, sure, we'll be happy to help. But we're out there to just make sure that you enjoy the time that you're out there playing the golf course. So like um the one of the things that really struck me, I learned this. I don't remember if I learned this whenever I was at Congressional, if it was there whenever I was at Driftwood, but your average golfer, he goes to a golf club to play. He goes to a golf course to play. And the head pro has his name on everything, right? Everyone knows the head pro basically at every course that they're going to. They know the head pro. They see that head pro for maybe maybe 30 seconds, if they even see the guy, right?
Yeah.
They see you, the caddy, for 4 hours, 5 hours a day. So whenever they're done playing that round of golf, they don't remember Joe Smith, the head pro, from, thinking back about Whistling Straits. They think about Mike, the caddy that I had in
Gotcha.
Whistling Straits. So like we're the most impactful person that golfer is going to have on that given day for that memory of that golf course. And so, whenever you're at these super nice clubs like Congressional, Driftwood, Whistling Straits, Maridoe, Trinity Forest, you want those guys to, or girls, you want those people to have a great time when they're out there and have a good memory about it. And so we're not out there to, judge your golf game. We're out there to, we want you to enjoy it, have some fun and have good memories to look back on. And we understand that we're a crucial part of that enjoyment. And so we want you guys to do well. And if you don't, it's no big deal. Like, let's crank the tunes, like here, you need this to loosen up, have a
Yeah,
shot,
man.
do whatever. Like we're out there to have a good time and a fun time. So no
Absolutely.
judging at all ever.
Oh, absolutely. I just, I know myself and I always feel like I'm being judged whether I'm playing with, buddies from back here or Tiger Woods or whoever it might be. It's just always, your first tee jitters are always a little tough, but I was lucky enough to pipe it down the middle at the wind with the caddy in front of me, so that kind of loosened me up to begin with.
Yeah, awesome. Love
So I'm not sure if you know about me, but I'm trying to play a round of golf in all 50 states,
awesome.
at least one round. So I've got 7 of them down. I am headed up to Chambers Bay here in about a month. I'm gonna be kind of hitting the baseball stadiums up, as I mentioned. I'm from St. Louis, so I'm a Cardinal fan.
Yes.
The Cardinals are playing the Mariners here in September when I head up there. So
Awesome.
I'm catching a Mariners Cardinals game, Seahawks 49ers, and then gonna play Chambers, which looking forward to that trip.
Love it.
With that being said, I am, going to be using a caddy at Chambers, which I'm looking forward to, because at least I've had a little bit of familiarity with caddies, and this will be nice because at least you're able to answer a few questions that I know I'm not playing Whistling Straits today, but at least, I can get some insights from a caddy.
Yeah.
Now, going back to Whistling Straits. I've got to play course in Wisconsin, so I've got to, and obviously Whistling Straits is one of my bucket list courses. Do you have any, I guess, more or less, what's the most challenging hole? What are the greens rolling at today? Not that it really matters to me because I'm not, obviously a scratch golfer or anything, but like, what's the slope rating? Obviously it's a Pete Dye course, right?
Yeah, it was a Pete Dye course. Yes. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about whistling, and I just want to hear about it a little bit from someone
Yeah.
that's more familiar with it than I am.
So definitely, I mean, if you're making a trip to Wisconsin and looking to play a round of golf, Whistling Straits is number one. There's other like Wisconsin's like a hidden gem of like not a lot of people when they think of like public golf, they think California,
Yeah,
Florida, places like
Florida,
that.
sure, sure.
Like Wisconsin and even Michigan for that matter. Like
Aaron Hills.
yeah, like Wisconsin has Aaron Hills, which just hosted the U.S. Women's Open. It's got
Yeah,
Wisconsin,
yeah.
which has hosted 3 PGA championships and a Ryder Cup,
Mm,
along with the like sister, like it's all tied in the Kohler Resort. Black Wolf Run has 2 courses over there on that property, and that's hosted 2 women's PGAs, I believe, either 2 women's PGAs or 2 women's Opens. But yeah, I mean, Whistling is the course to play, but so many good courses here in Wisconsin. I'm not exactly sure what the slope rating is there, but I can tell you it is hard. It is going to
oh,
be
that's
one of the hardest courses you've ever played. Pete Dye is, if you're familiar with golf course architecture and golf course designers, Pete Dye has his quirks and has his people have some choice words for his designs a few times. And Whistling Straits, you've got to just go into it with the you want to go out there and just take in the beauty of the course and like the history that's there, like having the 3 PGA championships, having the Ryder Cup there. I mean, you've got 12 or 14 holes. You could even stretch it to 15 holes that are like right on the water. Not many ocean courses or like water,
sure,
courses
sure.
you can say that they're on the coast for most of the entire round. But the design was that Pete Dye did an amazing job at designing the course to where both nines do like a figure eight. And so you basically you start off with number one, you head out towards the water. Number two it's the funniest thing, caddying out there every day. People get to number two and like, oh, we're on the water. Look at this. It's beautiful. Like here it is. And we're like, there's actually two holes between us and the water still, even though it feels like
Yeah.
you're right underwater. He designed it to where it's kind of like a stair step. So like, you've got hole two up here, hole eight here, hole seven here. Like, so you don't really see the hole between you and the water. So it feels like you're there on the water. Um, but it is a unbelievably beautiful designed course. Very, very, very hard.
No,
Um,
well, looking
you
forward to
can't,
playing.
yeah, you can't spray it. If you do, you're going to be in some fescue. There's over 1,000 bunkers on property, so if you don't find the fescue, you probably found a
And a
bunker.
bunker. Yeah.
And they're not your traditional bunker. You're gonna have so many stances and lies at Whistling Straits that you've never had in your life. Like it's gonna be so unique. You're gonna be like, how do I get out of this? What do I do? But yeah, I mean, greens actually are kind of the saving grace to that course because tee to green is very tough. But once you're on the green, there's not a whole bunch of crazy undulation. There's undulation, but it's fairly limited. And when you have a caddy like us caddies, we're out there, so many rounds a year. Like we know those greens pretty well. So once you get on the green, it's not that bad. But the greens are usually rolling at about I don't know, anywhere from a 9.5 to 10.5. Like they're not lightning because the course itself is so hard. If the grounds team had the greens running fast, I mean, pace of play is already at 5 hours. Pace of play would be 6 hours if the greens were,
Yeah.
were hard. So, but yeah, I mean, definitely when you play Wisconsin golf, get up here to the Straits, play it, see it, and set your expectations. Whatever your handicap is. I generally say if you can shoot within 8 strokes of your handicap, that's phenomenal.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. I mean, I'm no rush to, break seven par right now. So, it's looking forward to it and, trying to play around over how far is that from Milwaukee? Just out of curiosity, about an hour and a half?
Milwaukee is about an hour and 15 minutes south of Whistling
Okay,
Straits.
Eastern Straits. Okay, yeah, because I'm trying to catch a Brewers Cardinals game too. Maybe next summer I'll head up there. We'll see.
Yeah.
So next spring maybe. But like you said, I'm just gonna go in and take it all in, and like you said, it's take all the peat dive, the toughness of the course, the beauty, and all that. I was able to play out at Torrey Pines a couple months back, and that was, again, like Tiger to me built that course. He like, the way the amount of times he won, and just growing up watching him was just, unbelievable how that course kind of laid out is really nice. So yeah, I've been able to kind of play a few nice courses, and that's kind of what my goal is with this playing 50s. Kind of I want to play with the pros play. So with that being said, I kind of do want to dive into like, what's your most memorable moment while caddying? Have you like, obviously I've seen that you've caddied for some pretty cool, at least YouTube. I saw you did it with Garrett and Steve and the Good gang, and you've done it. I think you were with the Short Game King couple weeks ago or something.
Yeah.
A couple of these YouTubers. What any other fun moments or special moments that you can would recognize?
Yeah, definitely. So I've caddied for Gabby Golf Girl twice now as well. She's a
Oh yeah,
big,
yeah. She's huge. Yeah, she's from down here or West Palm.
Yep. She's a great girl, phenomenal golfer. And for, I believe she's still only 17, so her maturity level and her golf skill like is very, very impressive. But so obviously caddying for, the athletes, the celebrities, the influencers, the um, you know, whatever, movie stars, actors, whatever it is, like those are obviously super, super cool and fun and enjoyable. But there's a moment that, I've never actually been asked that question. Like, is there a moment that actually stands out to you in your caddy term and all that? And there, there's definitely this one moment. I was caddying last year on the Irish course, so one of our Kohler courses up
Mm.
here, and it was a four ball that I was actually only caddying for two of them. So like actually I take that back, it was a three ball, but the one individual just brought his wife just to tag along. So there was four of us. But the two of the three wanted a caddy, like they wanted to pay for the caddy service and wanted that experience. The other gentleman was like, oh no, I'm good. Like, no need for the caddy. Like I'll make my way out there, no problem. It took him a hole or two or three, and he was kind of just like, "Hey, you're out here. Do you mind like helping me out?" Not, no problem, sure.
Of
Whatever
course.
you need, let me know. And it turns out he was like he rates golf courses at some level or some kind. Like he writes articles on his experience and stuff like that. And by the end of the round, I had gotten to talk with him, and his wife was following along, and so I got to talk with her a little bit. And um, I wasn't caddying for them. I was caddying for the other two, and I would help him out whenever he would ask for my input or we'd ask for anything. And I just, the other two were riding in the golf cart. He was carrying his own bag, and so we would walk up the course, together every now and then on a hole while my other guys were driving their golf cart and all that stuff. And at the end of the round, his wife asks for my phone number for if they were to come back, they wanted to request me, and so I gave her my number, and probably 2 hours later, I get like three pictures of myself caddying for this gentleman, and it's from the wife, and she goes, "Hey, just wanted to reach out and say, I can't remember the guy's name, but we'll say Jim. Jim has been to multiple, caddy locations, multiple golf courses at high levels, and he's like." If she said he wanted me to let you know you stand out above the majority of them. You stand out so much, like your work ethic, your personality, your golf course knowledge, your strategy, things like that. She goes, he wanted me to reach out and tell you, like, keep doing, like, you've got a knack for this. You're really good at it. And it was like she didn't have to do that. She
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
have,
yeah.
she went out of her way to tell me. And the funny thing was, like, I wasn't even caddying for the guy. Like, I
Yeah.
was just along, like, he was just out there to play, and I gave my input. So that really stood out because I remember whenever the moment that I got that text with those pictures, because there was pictures of me myself just caddying, but there was also pictures of me and her husband like talking about something, like kind of inactive moments.
Reading the green kind of thing or
Exactly,
whatever it was.
exactly. And she didn't have to do that, but her words meant a lot, and like it made me feel like I was like, you know what, this is great. Like to kind of hear that feedback, and I don't need praise or a good job tap on the back or anything like that. Like I enjoy what I do, and I do it because I love it. But it was nice to get a random something you didn't expect, like pat on the back, basically. It
Oh
was really
yeah, absolutely. Sometimes those words are much nicer than, financially a tip or something. I do enjoy something like if you're doing something, just being personal to someone, it's nice to see that. That's I think the Midwestern in you. That's not this East Coast Florida stuff down here. These people don't act like that. It's a little different down here, but I think that's what that is. It's a little Midwestern in you.
yeah.
But that's really cool, to hear. I had a couple more. Oh yeah, so obviously whistling's just a walking only course, correct?
Yeah, so unless your last name's Kohler, you're
Okay.
probably not getting the
Okay. Yeah.
golf
Yeah.
cart, or unless you've got
Gotcha.
some type of medical
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah. Sure. 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 So just like, do you have some? I mean, this is gonna kind of an odd question, but like, it takes me like, I mean, I don't really work out or exercise all that much, but like, you got to have some type of workout regimen. With carrying either one or two bags on your shoulder, walking 18, sometimes 36 or whatever, however many holes you decide to
Yeah.
go. I'm sure. I don't know if that's up to you or what that's about, but you have to have some type of workout regimen, right?
Well, it's definitely not up to all Denver. It's definitely not up to me if I go 36 or not. I apologize. We had to reschedule this and push it back a couple
Oh,
hours
you're good. You're good.
because of I got roped into going 36 today. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of cardio. I mean, so Whistling Straits is not an easy walk.
Mm.
I would say per 18 holes, us caddies average about 7.5 miles and roughly 16,000 steps for one round. And like you said, we're going, at least 18 holes, sometimes 36. So I work 5 days out of the week. Three of those five, I'm going 36 holes, and I'm carrying two bags. Like I'm carrying a one bag on this shoulder, one bag on this shoulder, double
Yeah.
bag. And so, that alone is cardio, but that's just something that you kind of get accustomed to after, your first 2 or 3 weeks out there. You get accustomed to that walk and the cardio of it. As far as a workout regimen, like, yeah, you know, you gotta get in the gym a little bit and just try to maintain. I mean, there are guys that probably don't work out and they're doing great. They're great caddies. They can somehow, do it without. But I just know like what best suits me
Sure,
is
sure, sure.
the like, making sure I stay with a routine in the gym and lifting the weights and just making sure my body's at as good a shape as it can be because I mean, I do this from late April until late October. And I mean, it's a grind on the body. So you got to just make sure that you're fueling your body correctly and keeping it active in the gym as well.
Yeah, well, thank you. So yeah, I just got a couple more questions, I guess. Has caddying like changed your perspective on the game of golf? Like when you're watching the Masters, are you sitting there trying to like see what Ted Scott's doing for Scotty Scheffler? Are you watching the caddies more? Because just gotten into this like editing videos and stuff, and I'm watching like a good video, for example, and I'm sitting there like critiquing their editing and like I mean not critiquing because they are doing a lot better than I do, but I've kind of just completely, I still watch the videos, the Bob Does Sports, Barstool, whatever. I watch all these YouTube, but I'm like watching kind of how they edit to kind of implement it in my stuff
Yeah.
too. Does that like, are you watching what caddies are doing out on like at the Masters or any of these major tournaments or today, Kurt Kitayama? Well, I guess you weren't watching that. You were at work, but
It wasn't working. Who ended up winning today, by the way?
Kurt Kitayama.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
but one stroke, 24 under or something. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so as far as like watching, Scotty's caddy, out there doing things like that, each caddy, you know, you're your own person, and it's your own vibe that makes you that type of caddy. So, I don't really try to pick up on much, like trying to look at others and critique what they're doing or things like that. Or like how does this guy read a green? Like how does he do around the green? There are like little things that I'll end up reading. Just on the like tips on how to read greens or like on the game of golf, things like that, how to play wind and things like that. But one of the things I try to one of the things I've noticed as a caddy now is my how do I phrase it? I don't want to say strategy, but like game management or course management
Yeah,
is a
sure, sure.
it's not something that whenever I was golfing in high school back in the day I wasn't. I was. If I shot a flag, I'm playing that number. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
attacking that
Right.
pin all the time.
Yeah,
And
no laying up, hitting
yeah,
bombs.
we're not laying up at all. We're attacking every pin, no matter where the danger is, no matter where that pin is. We're
Yeah,
going.
absolutely.
So it is as a caddy, like it's not as much as like trying to see what this guy does, what this guy does, and trying to pick from there. It's more of just like you're doing your own game management. I guess what I will say is whenever you hear conversations, like whenever they have them like kind of not mic'd up, but whenever they have a microphone pretty close to a player and his caddy, and you can hear them talking about a number or a shot. I
Mm.
do focus in on that because I am interested. Like, what are they talking about? Like, what
Yeah,
what goes through an actual professional caddy on tour and his player? What are they talking about? What are their number? Like, what do their numbers sound like? Are they talking the same language that I am with my players? And so I do listen in on that. But I would say overall, it's just like the game management, the course management has been what I've kind of really taken away from the being a caddy that was different from whenever I wasn't doing caddying.
awesome. So yeah, I just got one more bonus little question.
Yep,
Um, obviously, the biggest movie out right now, Happy Gilmore 2. Have we seen it yet?
I did.
Okay, yeah, yeah, absolutely. I did too. I grew up on Happy Gilmore, all the Billy or the Adam Sandler movies growing up. What if you had to give Bad Bunny a grade for his caddying skills, what would you give him?
Bad Bunny, I would grade him. I'd go A minus. I'd go
A
A minus.
minus? Yeah, yeah, not bad. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So many cameos and great, and I liked it. I don't know what your thoughts were on it. Obviously,
If you liked it, I will keep my thought. Yeah, I'll keep my thoughts to myself.
sure, sure, sure.
Yeah, I didn't. I just to me, Happy Gilmore was a great movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Good comedian. I think he just has his own type of humor and his own type of comedy that to me personally, it's hit or miss. And
Sure, 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 sure.
Happy Gilmore hit, Happy Gilmore 2 missed in my
Yeah.
personal thing. But
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it was nice to see like I know Travis Kelce. I'm a Chiefs fan now that my Rams left, so it was kind of nice to see him in there. Papa
Yep.
Ed Kelsey in the back wearing his gold jacket. Just it was stupid funny, but I did enjoy it. I won't watch it again. I'll say that. You
Yep.
know, but I had to watch it. So, but that's all I kind of got for you tonight. I do appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much. Again, if any of my followers are listening and you want some golf tips, go follow Mike the Caddy on Instagram.
Yep.
I'm sure he would highly recommend it. Hopefully, I can come see you soon here in Wisconsin. Try to catch a Brewers and Cardinals game. So that's kind of where I'm planning my trips. I got to follow the Cardinals around and find the nicest golf course in the area. So. With that being said, thank you again for helping me out tonight. It was a pleasure to meet you. All right.
Pleasure to meet you. It was my pleasure, man. Have a good night.
Oh, yeah, you too.